700 MB.
It's more.
700 Mbps. This is like 800.
That's heading towards 900.
Wow. Upload speed is 800 MB. Hey, are you serious? Have you guys ever wondered how the internet works? It's not just satellite. The backbone of the internet are cables laid on the ocean floor to connect one place to another. In the case of Africa, we have a cable called the ACE cable, which connects a large part of West Africa to the internet. The cable links Europe, West Africa, and South Africa together. This same cable links over 14 countries across 2 continents. Back then when I used to hear about the internet, I thought it was something that was radiating from above and beamed down to us that we now connect our phones to use. I never knew it was connected by cables. It is said that if they took all the cables that is connecting the world's internet together, they can roll it around the earth 24 times, like the whole earth 24 times. That's crazy. So why are we talking about internet? As a content creator who is constantly uploading content, it's always very stressful. My internet is always very slow. Even when I make calls with people, it's always a problem. And whenever I travel to other countries, even countries in Africa, I'm always wondering, why is their internet working? Why is ours always usually slow? When I was in Ghana last time, I tried out their internet, it was working well. When I was in South Africa, it was also working well. I did some research and I found out that in Africa, South Africa and Ghana have some of the best internet. They are the top. Nigeria has one of the largest users of internet in Africa, but not the fastest in regards to speed. If we were to draw up the chart of the internet speeds across Africa, you will see that Nigeria ranks somewhere below in regards to how fast the internet gets. Singapore is leading the pack, and you can see how much transformation the country has had in the past couple years. So why am I talking about internet? You know, as much
Hello, good day guys, welcome back. I'm happy to see you guys once again. And in today's very video edition, I bring you guys good news. The kind of good news that makes the Western titans shake to their boots. The kind of good news that doesn't sit well with the Western narratives. The kind of information that leapfrogs the West and beats them in their own game. This is the kind of information that you don't see on the mainstream media. Why? Because it kind of reshuffles things in a way that doesn't really smile at compliance, but defiance. And that is what Africa really is. So the false indoctrinations, the terrible geopolitics, the miseducation, all that is going to be things of the past, because Africa is going to be changing that. And in this very today video edition, I'm excited to bring to you that there is actually some companies in Nigeria that are doing better, and they are ready to actually change the narrative of how we perceive the internet structure. If you don't understand what this really means in a nutshell, I want you to understand that a slow internet is a sabotage of economic growth. Imagine someone in Lagos who secured a job, a remote job in Canada or Europe, but losing the job due to epileptic, not just power supply, but also sluggish internet that charge more than what it takes to perform a kidney surgery. Imagine paying so much for internet, but getting the speed at capped like 1 megabyte per second. That is what we get. And I'm going to be bold about it. I'm going to give you names like MTN, Airtel. There are a lot of them. Why? Because Africa is structured to fail. There are a lot of systems that are in place to make sure that Africa doesn't rise above either Asia, either US, or the rest. So Africa will keep begging. Africa will keep sliding backwards while the rest are pushing. Africa will not turn its raw material into finished product. That is what the game is all about. That is what the geopolitics is all about. However, when Africa decided to do something differently, someone says something like that, if
Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay, and that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so this is...
Africa should decide to do something differently, then the living standard in the Europe is going to drop. The living standard in the Asian country is going to crash. But today, there is a cut in Nigeria that is actually changing that very narrative. They have succeeded to establish and have a speed that is like 1 gig per second. That is mind-blowing. That is up here. Most average speed of internet in the US can't even rival that. wait, we are talking about a speed from 500, 700, just not even being the startup, not even the benchmark. We're talking about 800 megabyte per second. That is hypersonic. And the center of it all, the most interesting part of this very story here is that this tech is not owned by US, not owned by Chinese, not owned by any other, but owned by Nigeria. That is something that is very, very interesting, because when Nigeria decided to take the bull by horn, it is like awakening. It is like the talk of most scholars in Africa that says that any day that Nigeria decided to wake up, the whole Africa is going to become free. So the West are going to be moving fist, because they are not going to want to see that without a fair fight or brutal fight. But today we have a company that decided to push ahead. And I'm going to be sharing the video with you in this very episode here, so that you can be able to see where the development is going, so you stop waiting for Starlinks. You stop waiting for MTN. You stop waiting for epileptic internet access that charges you a kidney but delivers like ants. It is very shameful, but we know that there are a lot of geopolitics that are behind all these things to play the role of economic sabotage. However, I wouldn't so fast recommend you to go into diving into. You have to read into the fine print, because sometimes it can be very flashy, it can be very flattery, right? So you don't say I pushed you into making the wrong decision. You also want to check if it is also available in your own area. Because when people are talking about the MTN Fiber X, most people will not tell you that they are being strategic. They are just only following some estate, some strategic location where they feel that people who are living there can be able to afford their Fiber X. But however, for those who are not actually using the Fiber X, what is the lifeline? What is the story? What is their own experiences? How are they perceiving the internet? How are they using it? It is more like you, well, paying for a very good product, but just about to have a pinch of it and boom, it vanishes. Your money is gone. Vanish into the digital ether. That is exactly what most Nigerians are facing when it comes to epileptic internet access, ISPs, epileptic power supply. That's why a lot of them are switching into solars. However, there's going to be more that's going to be coming out of the bag, because we are here to change the trajectory that is not sitting well with our own narrative. We know some of these techs can be slow, but with our own awareness, with us knowing that this is actually the best thing that we can do, the best bang for our money, it can actually help them boost the productivity, speed things up to start rivaling the West. By the way, who says we are here to rival the West? No, we are here to thrive and not to survive. So when you understand that difference, that is all. Now, I want you to watch this very video carefully, and I'm going to be right back after that very video.
Problem. And whenever I travel to other countries, even countries in Africa, I'm always wondering, why is their internet working? Why is ours always usually slow? When I was in Ghana last time, I tried out their internet, it was working well. When I was in South Africa, it was also working well. I did some research and I found out that in Africa, South Africa and Ghana have some of the best internet. They are the top. Nigeria has one of the largest users of internet in Africa, but not the fastest in regards to speed. If we were to draw up the chart of the internet speeds across Africa, you will see that Nigeria ranks somewhere below in regards to how fast the internet gets. Singapore is leading the pack, and you can see how much transformation the country has had in the past couple years. So why am I talking about internet? You know, as much as I want to make videos promoting Africa, showcasing entrepreneurs, and just sharing my experience as an African living in Africa, I believe an increase in our internet speed can positively affect Africa. If there was a way to increase the internet speed in countries like Nigeria, it can positively affect Africa, because first of all, Nigerians, we are like ants, we are plenty everywhere. And we're also hustlers. We know how to hustle, we know how to produce stuff. If we had faster internet, there are so many benefits. One of the first one is increase in productivity. Someone like me, I use the internet a lot. I'm always using the internet on Instagram, on Twitter, on all those platforms to share my videos with you guys. Me having problems with internet just makes my work a little bit harder. If I had faster internet, it would be easy for me to upload easily and quickly. Another good point for internet is that if you have good internet, your stress levels are reduced. You don't stress yourself out too much, because especially living in a country like Nigeria, there are too many things stressing you out already. There's already traffic, there's bad power. So if the internet adds to that, that's just more stress. Lastly, which is one of the most important ones, I believe good internet will lead to more collaboration across the country. You know, the reason why we have so much traffic in Lagos is because it's overpopulated. Imagine we had different people spread across different states of Nigeria being able to work remotely. Remember what happened during the pandemic? A lot of people had to work from home, and then people were heavily dependent on the internet, and the internet came to the rescue. People could do Zoom calls, they could connect with all their office workers, they could get stuff done even though they were not in the same place. One of the reasons why this is difficult is because our internet services are very slow. Content creation is taking over the world. A lot more content creators can start making content because they have fast internet speed. Another thing I didn't even talk about is also education. More people can have access to education. There are a lot of people that don't have access to education or don't have access to going to maybe like an expensive school, can get access to the internet, and if you have access to the internet, you can have access to the world. The internet is one of the biggest driving forces for development in any country. Imagine what would happen if we didn't have internet in Nigeria. Would I even know how to make videos? I learned how to make all the videos I post on this platform on the internet via YouTube. I learned how to build a business via YouTube. If I didn't have the internet, I wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't even be watching me. I believe the internet is really important, and the slow speed of the internet is something I've been battling with for a very long time. Until a company called IPNX reached out to me. IPNX is a fully Nigerian-owned company. They provide internet services for most of the big corporations and most of the big estates in Lagos, Nigeria. And they promised me that they have a 1 gig per second internet service. And I'm like, 1 gig? How is it possible? 1 gig per second? The highest I used was 100 MB per second, and that was in Russia. And then just to prove themselves, they said they have their internet connectivity in an estate in Chevron called Northern for Sure, and they invited me to come down here to come and test out the internet speed. I'm currently on my way to Chevron Drive now to see if this 1 gig per second is really true. Just imagine the possibilities having 1 gig per second. Whew. Lagos traffic, always trying to slow you down in life. Guys, we just finally got to Northern for Sure Estate. It's one of the nicest estates to live in Lagos. They have low fences. They also have a lot of greenery. On one side of this estate is the Lagos Lagoon, which has one of the nicest views. So if you're living in this estate, you're chilling and you're living life. So let's see if 1 gig is really possible. And I came with my laptop because people are saying they have 1 gig per second. But I don't believe it, to be honest. Hi, what's up?
Hi Tayo, how are you?
I'm fine. This is Najipe, is the product manager at IPNX.
So this is one of our gigabits enabled estates. Every home here is basically cabled and able to achieve 1 gig per second speed.
I still don't believe this 1 gig per second.
We're gonna test.
Okay, let's test it out.
Okay. Okay, after you. Okay, so we will hook you up with the modem. So over here we have our IPNX fiber modem.
Is that what gives the 1 gig? This modem?
Yes,
here?
exactly. So the service is delivered over this modem.
Okay. So what I need to do is just connect it to my
All you have
laptop.
to do is connect directly to the modem.
So to check if this is true, there are 2 sites I usually use to test out internet speed. One is speedtest.net, the second one is fast.com. So guys, come. Let me show you. Come and see the screen itself. So this is the moment of truth. This is the moment where we see if you can actually get better internet in Nigeria. I'm not even sure if you can get 100 MB itself. So let's just check it out. So speed test, check out the screen. 700 MB.
It's more.
700 Mbps. This is like 800.
That's heading towards 900.
Wow. Guys, can you imagine? I've never seen internet like this fast in Nigeria before, ever. Let's check out the upload speed. Upload speed is 800 MB. Hey, are you serious? 900 Mbps per second. Check it out. Show them. Are you serious? For so many years, like in Nigeria, I've always been having problem of uploading videos. Most of the time, I usually get around like 10 Mbps. This is 846 Mbps per second. So if I'm uploading an 800 MB file, that would take me 1 second.
You've seen it for yourself. This is certainly possible, and every home on our fiber network today can actually subscribe to this speed.
Comment below what your thoughts are on this internet speed, and also comment what internet speed you get in whatever location that you are.
This is the best service you can have for home broadband. IPNX is the best, the fastest, and the most reliable fiber internet provider.
So after checking out the internet speed and seeing that it was actually possible, I was wondering who owns this company. Is this company owned by a foreigner? You know, usually when people see stuff like this, they usually think it has to be from outside. So I decided I had to see the CEO of this company to ask them more questions about the internet service in Nigeria and figure out how it can be improved with services like this. So what all these feats IPNX has achieved? Is it a Nigerian-owned company?
Absolutely. IPNX is a fully owned, 100% Nigerian company.
Why is the internet in Nigeria slow as compared to other countries?
It depends on the platform, the technology, and that's what we're trying to change at IPNX. We're trying to bring that experience that you have seen in the Western world here in Nigeria. We are the first to deploy fiber to the home technology in Nigeria.
Ooh.
And yes,
Nice. I'm clapping for you guys.
And over the last 8 years, we've been able to bring that experience that you know, that you've seen in the Western world here in Nigeria. So that's really what we want to do. That's what we are doing, and that's who we are.
Awesome. I was browsing online one day and I saw a 1 gig per second fiber optic service. How possible is 1 gig per second?
It is absolutely possible. We have done it. It is not us just coming out to say here is 1 gigabit per second, but people have tested it. So yes, we have it. IPNX is the first in Nigeria, in West Africa, to deliver a 1 gigabit per second.
So when are you guys coming? I need to be uploading my videos.
Today.
I need to be uploading my videos on YouTube.
Today. Just give us your address. As soon as you're ready, you sign up with us and you get it today.
So how wide is your coverage?
We have coverage in Lagos, streets and estates and some gated communities. We also have coverage in Port Harcourt. We do have in Abuja as well.
Okay,
and we have a lot of plans to expand into other cities in Nigeria.
How affordable is your service for the average Nigerian?
First of all, our residential plans are completely unlimited plans.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, meaning that you don't get cut off for exhausting your data. You also do not get throttled, your speed getting throttled and all of that. We don't have it. We look at value. Value is the first thing that we propose. I'll come back to your price. I know you're
I want to know. That's what many people want to also know too.
I know, but it's important that I address value, right?
True,
so
true.
Because we are keen on you having whatever speed that we have advertised and having it consistently. Regarding price, which I know you've been waiting for really, our least plan is 12,900
per month.
Yes.
Oh, are you serious? I spend way more than that.
So we have to activate you today.
Yeah, today I'm getting activated. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna be dropping more videos now that I'm connected to IPNX.
I know.
So thank you for taking the time out to answer all these questions. I think I know what internet service I'll be using now going forward.
This is one of several data centers that we have. Scattered across the country.
Oh, so this is where the magic happens?
Exactly, you could say that again. So we have infrastructure here that aggregates all the fiber cables that go to individual homes and businesses around this community. So we aggregate all of them here.
I've suffered from bad internet for a very long time. It's always very frustrating whenever I want to upload a video and then it takes me 2, 3, 4 hours to just upload a single video to YouTube. It affects my productivity. It makes me post less videos for you guys. I really believe that if we have faster internet in Nigeria, it will lead to a lot of positive development across the country. I believe a lot of things can be achieved just by increasing the speed of the internet. That's why I'm so happy to be working with Nigerian companies like this who are coming up with new ways to change things, to improve things in the country. So shout out to IPNX for sponsoring this video. Shout out to them for calling me down to check out their space and also to test out their 1 gig internet service. If you'd like to get more information about this product, please check out the links in the description below. And as always, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Okay.
See you.
Gentlemen and ladies, this is the moment where Nigeria is decided to awake without its government, because this is not government funded. When I talk about the new African Silicon Valley, most people actually think that this is too big to be called a Silicon Valley, that they say it is even much more than Silicon Valley, which is okay with me because this is talking about made in African tech that smiles at plant obsolescence and toss them into the trash because that is where they belong.
Bobby V, boy, what up? Yep.
However, the moment we started changing things, the moment we started making the shift that doesn't sit well with the Western planned obsolescence product, a fragile phone you buy so expensive but as soon as it falls off your hands, it becomes a ticking time bomb. You're going back to the market because the The screen is actually made to fall off your hands. The glass looks so sleepy, but all you can see is actually the sleekness. But it doesn't actually matter to you. Why is it that the both faces of the smartphones you're using is made up of glass? You think it's for sleek aesthetics? Well, that's actually not the reality. They made it so that it can slip out of your hands. The more it slips, the more they keep you going back to the market. If you head to eBay right now, like 80% of the smartphones which you're gonna be seeing there have a cracked screen. And you go back to buy the screen are more expensive than the device. Did you think it's actually a coincidence? No. It is a planned obsolescence. That same pattern is what Africa is trying to change, and the West knows that. Why? For you to understand Africa, you need to understand how Africa were doing before the West came. And when the West came to Africa, how did they actually perceive Africa based on how Africa deal with their own brothers, relate with one another, have many wives? That's another topic for another day. However, there is something which I want you to understand here. The Nigerian internet speed is a sign that someone is not smiling at what the game politicians are playing with the lives of Nigerians. It is not too hard to set a strict regulation and policy that benefits the 200 to 300 whopping million people. Back in 2023, there was a statistic that was made about Nigeria to be the biggest internet user of smartphone. Do you know what that means? That is $1 billion, $1 trillion worth investment opportunity. But how is the government actually treating the ISPS infrastructure in Nigeria? They treat it with soft gloves, the same way they treat terrorism. And this is not a good thing, because that is practically economic sabotage. Imagine when the government have actually left the youth to fend for themselves without any core industrialization infrastructure that caters for the youth. Now the youth are going out of their own way to figure things out. However, they are bound with something which they really don't have control over except someone in Nigeria decided to take the bull by the horn, like the IPNX. That is why this matters. If you can see the bigger picture. Now the bigger picture to it, which I'm talking about, is the incredible hope that Africa is coming. Africa is rising. Africa is coming with a momentum, a brutal uppercut, and they are not smiling at compliance. Always remember that. Whether you like it or not, this change has come, and there's gonna be more. And this is how we can change the false narrative, the bad decision, the economic sabotage, one piece at a time. We can wait for those oppressors, those who are making sure that we don't stray out of their own hands, those who are making sure that we live by aid, that we don't thrive but survive, those who made sure that economic reforms and policies that our politicians are making is always a cutthroat to our own life and existential. So this, to me, is an incredible hope, and there is more which I'm going to be sharing with you guys, so you understand that Africa is moving. It might be slow, but what matters is the progress. So, gentlemen and ladies, this is where I'm going to be cutting the curtain for this very moment here. I hope to see you in the next episode where I'm going to discuss more on the brutal uppercut tech boom that's going on in Africa that is not mainstream. Thank you for watching. I am Dr. Cool.
Congratulations, that's all I can say to you, brother. You made it through, you became my hope and wonder. It's never easy to break through when the odds don't bother, but you fought with grace and the pain made you tougher. Congratulations, that's all I can say to you, brother. From the hard night's grind to the bright day cover, you earn your name, you shine, you crown, you flame, yeah. I wish you many more wins, change, stay the same. The street is full of dirty grin and hustle crimes to make it through. Unethically, ethnically, they don't respect you. The race is tough, ain't no weather to wait, no retreat, no back down. In this jungle of survival, you either swim or you drown. Honesty's the shortest road to poverty, that's true. It takes another bone beyond flesh just to do what you do. They don't know how many times you fell a God cup, how many toes you stepped on, it was never enough. You wanted to aspire, to rise above the hate, to shine so bright, man, even darkness will wait. Behind that 100 smiles lies a million sweats. You skipped birthdays, lost friends, made no regrets. Refuse pleasure, stay cold to keep the focus tight. Cutting ties to see clearer, chasing purpose through the night. Now you're living proof that dreams don't die easy. That pain could turn to diamonds if you grind deeply. They saw the glory, never saw the gutter. They missed the hunger nights, the bread you couldn't butter. You were praying for a way out, they were praying for your fall. But you turned the same pain to your armor stood tall. You never begged a soul, you never switched your role. You stayed 10 toes down while they were losing control. Now the same ones who laugh wanna stand in your frame, but where were they when you were hustling through pain? You bled in silence, but your roars now loud. From the bottom to the top, now you move with the crowd. Now the trophies glisten, but the scars still talk. Every bruise on your body's like a badger to walk the same streets that raised you. Now chant your name, you made the impossible. No luck, just flame. They see a champion, I see a survivor. You turned every failure into a driver. You carried our hope through the mud and flame. You proved success ain't luck, it's earned through pain. So when they ask how you made it through the storm, tell them faith and grind, that's the uniform. Brother, you did what we dream but can't show. Now we scream your name loud, let the whole world know. Congratulations, that's all I can say to you, brother. You made it through, you became our hope and wonder. It's never easy to break through when the odds don't bother, but you fall with grace and the pain made you tougher. Congratulations, that's all I can say to you, brother. From the hard night's grind to the bright day cover, you earn your name, you shine, you crown, you flame, yeah. I wish you many more wins, change, stay the same.